So I was thumbing through the social medias this morning when I was struck by a YouTube short from Eastwood. They're coming out with a Mark Sandman tribute bass, replica of that old Premier. It's very hard to find that he took two strings off of and played with a slide and used in Morphine. And I saw the positive comments stacking up on the side. Yeah, sold. I'm going to buy it right now. And I was thinking, man, these are going to sell out in 499 euro bucks. Sorry, 499 USD. Probably only a little more than 400 euro bucks. So I was just like, damn, how can I not do this? So hit the order button, all the shipping, and I realized like it's shipping from the US. I'm going to have to pay international shipping and then customs to the parasites in power here in Germany. And that planted the seed of doubt, which started burgeoning in my monkey brain as I reflected, like, do you want to pay like 750 euro bucks just so you can do something that you never really wanted to do and rip off Mark Sandman? And that cast me into an existential dilemma to which I am about to subject you because Morphine, Eastwood, and the whole question of paying homage or shamelessly ripping off your favorite artists are all very near and dear to my heart, and probably yours too if you care enough to click on this video. So, uh, first of all, I was thinking Mark Sandman would probably laugh his ass off at the notion of people paying money for a new bass to do something you can just take the two strings off of any bass, play it with the slide, set the action real high, and do whatever. And I'm not sure. I don't want to put words in the late master's mouth or risk committing the sin of assuming shit, but I know that he said he was proud that, okay, he purportedly never spent more than $250 on any instrument ever and was proud of it and did a lot of messing around with sort of junky instruments and collected a lot of kind of crappy stuff and restrung them and stuff, and that's very cool. So I was kind of thinking, like, man, the very existence of this is anti-Sandman or un-Sandman, but it's also a tribute to a great master, songwriter, and Eastwood has often paid homage to some of my favorite artists. I mean, somebody at Eastwood has really good taste in music. Maybe it's Mike Robinson himself. I don't know, but the John McKeoch, guy from Susie and the Banshees and Magazine, they did a copy of his Yamaha double cutaway thing that I guess is really hard to find. They did the thing from the guy from Peter Hook, the hooky bass, also something that you'll never really find, and Sherwood, I think. And they did a lot of stuff with Colin Newman, Wire. I mean, these are, to me, all heavy hitters. My favorite stuff. They also did a copy of that Ovation Magnum. That's not as hard to find as people say, but whatever. So yeah, they're into doing tributes to people who were awesome, and I just respect it for that. Even though I think Mark Sandman would have laughed, but it also raises another question, which is I call it the reductio ad premierem, which is the tendency of journalists from the lamestream legacy media to reduce Morphine to Mark Sandman playing this two-string bass with a slide and having the saxophone and no guitar. And that whole thing, to me, just totally reduced away the significance of Morphine, which is the songwriting and the ability to be a unique, totally awesome power trio with the instrumentation, the arrangements, and everything. And it's more than the sum of their parts and all that cliche stuff. But like Mark Sandman himself, I didn't even consider it particularly remarkable that he played on a two-string bass, slide bass. I saw an interview with him where he just said, they do stuff like this in other cultures all over the world. They're two-string instruments, and each string has every note, and you just get used to playing up and down, and it's not that much of a thing. And sometimes in interviews, he just said it's easier, and I had a one-string bass, and then I added a second one so I can do chords and stuff, and the playing with the slide thing, which I personally hate, and I don't know when I got this, but why, but it's been collecting dust, and I've used it for comedic purposes a grand total of 2 times. So I when it comes to ripping off Morphine, I always thought rip off the song style. Don't rip off the him sliding up and down and that sound that's so cool. Yeah, I would like to get that sound and just have it, but I mean, I'm not willing to invest the time to learn how to play slide for real. And he's the only slide guy I really like. I mean, I'm sure the Sonic Youth technically used slides or screwdrivers as slides, but whatever. So I do have this Eastwood side jack MIC that I strung. I took one string off. I call it the Sonic Sandman tuning because the top strings, I got this unison. So you can do the Sonic Youth thing. And then the bottom 2 strings are tuned in a fifth, bass strings in the fifth. But I never tried to cover Morphine. I had opportunities to play with a baritone sax guy, but he was into some kind of experimental shit, and it wasn't worth it to try to like convince him to do a Morphine cover band or do songs in the style of Morphine. But I have written 2 songs in the style of Morphine, sort of. Mad Cherries and Not Enough Romance are sort of an homage to the Mark Sandman thing, but most people who try to cover Mark Sandman or Morphine end up making a fool of themselves. It doesn't work very well. It's fun to do their thing, I guess, if you have a saxophone. I'm also not sure how, if even really, really good saxophonists can do a Dana Colley thing. I kind of doubt it. The double sax and all that stuff. And besides, like, it's really more than the instruments. It's like the dynamics of it, where he's going from soft sounds in the background during the verses to the full-on power chord thing and the double sax, and it's just way more than the novelty. Yeah. The mainstream journalists were treating it like a novelty band, like hoo, that's cute, and trio with 2-string bass and baritone, and that's not what it's all about. I also think a lot of the more interesting things about Sandman was what all he did that doesn't appear on the records, or only minimally, because supposedly he was into collecting all kinds of pawn shop type stuff and then restringing them, using them for stuff. And on Sandbox, sorry, and At Your Service, there's a lot of Morphine like B-sides or like basement tapes or demo stuff that he was doing where there's no bass, and he was recording weird stuff on weird guitars or maybe other instruments, because he talked about ethno world instruments sometimes, and there aren't that many interviews with him where he gives concise or in-depth info on what exactly he was doing, but he was obviously into way more stuff than the 2-string bass. I mean, Treater Wright doing the octave guitar thing and all kinds of stuff, and in the especially on Good and a little bit on Cure for Pain, and also and a lot on The Night, the final album. That was all masterpieces, of course, but there's a lot of non-bass stuff going on the side in the background to sweeten the mix. And I know he had like a tritar, and that's kind of what this is inspired by, is like to have 3 strings on top and the 2 strings on bottom, so you can do like a 2-string bass and a tritar thing at the same time. But I mean, I don't play it with a slide. I'm not a friend of the slide, just a friend of Sandman, or a fanboy of Sandman. So anyway, like Good, and especially the song. Well, the other side, there was a lot of like wispy guitar sounds going on in the background, and the tritar. I've never seen a picture of it. Have you? I would like, hey, Eastwood, if you can find out what his tritar was, could you do a replica of that? Anyway, he was doing all kinds of stuff to sweeten the mix. You can really hear it in the song "Mary, Won't You Call My Name," but I think even in Buena, it's kind of mixed in. There's this twang that's not from his bass. I think it's from a tritar or some kind of other instrument. But I'd like to know more about all kinds of stuff because he just seemed to like such a free spirit, uh, just trying all kinds of stuff. And to me, that's the spirit of Sandman, way more than just having a two-string slide bass. Although the Premier, um, you know, admittedly looks cool as hell with the iconic swirl thing on top, and 499 USD, which is probably only 415 euro bucks. And normally I'd just say that, like, that's just 2 nights out on the town, and because everything is getting more expensive, but guitars are getting cheaper. And like restaurants spending $80 in a restaurant, $7 a beer or whatever. The guitar prices are coming down, and especially with Harley Benton and stuff, where it's like $200. But so anyway, that brings us to the second thing, which is like Eastwood. I've been collecting Eastwood since 2010. In fact, these were my first two. This here is the Made in Korea 2010 first baritone, first Eastwood I ever got. And this is the soul of Shice Squad because I just got it as an impulse buy. I saw it in the store, Just Music in Hamburg, 500, and I just got it as an impulse buy. Later, I showed it to drummer the Nifty Wankers back when we were playing in Caligula's Palace together, the short-lived downbeat trip hop homage type thing, and he just liked the baritone, the sound of it so much. He was like, I had never seen a thing that you could really do a two-man band. So when Caligula's Palace broke up, he was just like, man, you should write some songs for that baritone guitar and we'll reap the benefits of a two-man band. So that's how Shice Squad was born, thanks to the Eastwood side jack baritone made in Korea. And that's important because then I got a backup 2 years later, 2012, and this was MIC, made in the People's Republic of State Capitalism masquerading as a communist utopia. So, and it was just so much shittier than this. The neck is really thin, which wouldn't be a problem, but it's really bendy, and the pickups are shit too. The neck pickup is really nice and loud, and then the bridge pickup is, I don't know, it's just way crappier, and just all kinds of. And so I did what I always do with crappy guitars, what maybe Mark Sandman would approve of, and strung it up crazy. And this was the tuning we used for Mad Cherries, which is the Morphine tribute homage song, and then Runde Sorglos Paket, which is kind of our signature song, and Amateur Night, which also starts with a Morphine-esque bass intro. Anyway, I kept collecting Eastwoods for years. I mean, that blonde redhead special, the TB64 bass 6 thing, the green one back there. That's MIC too, but it's really good. It did cost $900. I'm sure they did some special workshop work on that one, but that's another homage instrument to the Tesco Del Rey TB64. Anyway, that was totally worth it. That was good, but I started collecting Eastwoods, and I got about like 10 of them now, and I've seen their quality decline over the years to the point that I was really frustrated and pissed off, and especially since I like them. Customer service is great. I've sent emails. I've gotten emails from Mike Robinson himself answering Guitar Nerd questions about pickups and stuff. And the guy in the UK office before Brexit, Paul Cook, I think. Something Cook, I think. He was cool. They were all real nice. And I hate to diss them like this, but their quality got hit or miss, and nothing was unusably shitty, but it was disappointing for 600 euro bucks. I'll tell you that. Especially the Sen 1 I got in the back. It's really cool looking, and closer inspection reveals it's really crappy. It's got a baseball bent neck, and I would not personally blame Eastwood for this. It's the trick that they do in the People's Republic of destroying historical instruments in the name of Mao's Cultural Revolution and trying to erase 4,000 years glorious human history. It's the oldest continuously maintained language. And they always do this trick where you make an order, or they send you a prototype, which is awesome, and then the production, it goes into mass serial production, and the lot of instruments they're making are just nowhere near as good as a prototype. And I'm pretty sure what that happened to them. Anyway, Korea, or their high-end stuff. Now, the last Eastwood I got was 2017. That was the green burst side jack I got on St. Patrick's Day, which I ended up using in Tommy Stoff's band because he loves the color green. But it was pretty crappy. I mean, it had shitty fretwork, and it was good enough for doing power chords in the lowest position. But if I wanted to use it for Shice Squad or anything serious, I would have gotten it re-fretted or leveled or doctored or something. But anyway, so I've been disappointed by Eastwood. It's been years, so maybe they got out of it by now, and I don't know, 500 USD. It's kind of worth it, but the question is man, is it an homage to Sandman? I wonder what Sandman would have thought, because the cult of personality was already starting to emerge around Mark Sandman before the great man left us in 1999. Because he was the king of cool, and people instantly recognized that. I mean, I recognized that in 1994 when I got Cured for Pain, and I was a little kid back then. But and then Mark Sandman did a really good job of guarding the mystique around him by not giving interviews too much. Or he didn't make any stupid quotes, or I don't know. He was trying to. I don't know what he was trying, actually. I can't risk assuming shit about him. He definitely maintained a mystique, which is one of the reasons he's gotten more and more awesome in the decades between. And I just wonder, would he think it's ridiculous that people are paying tribute to him or not? Or would he maybe even be offended and just be like, look, I got this bass in a pawn shop, took 2 strings off, and come on, it's not a big deal. Maybe. I don't know. It's hard to know what he's saying. Maybe he would be flattered because, I mean, they got big, and they were supposedly, to me, they were as big as you're going to get. But I read a quote from Dana Cawley who said, Mark was under a lot of pressure to hit one out of the park. And I already thought, they get on MTV. And in the late 90s, to me, they were one of the few interesting bands or really good bands that I liked on MTV. Very few at that time. And I thought they already, destination reached, made their goal. But when Dana Cawley said hit one out of the park, and they mean get a number 1 multi-platinum record, maybe that's what he meant. And I guess that would be quite a tough sell for Morphine to go super duper mega mainstream. But I mean, they could have done it. I mean, they're cool. He is cool as hell. I mean, he's kind of got the noir or kind of a narrator sound. He has this timeless quality to his voice, and then singing all the songs where half of them end up being well, I'm banging your wife, right? And if you're gonna come and get me, and but that's okay. We had our fun, and I can always self-delete myself to the other side, where the grass is greener, and everything turns out all right on the other side. And that's one of my favorite songs by them. and or Thursday, the Motel of Shame, which has the guitar noise in the background. That's another thing. Yeah, sweetening the mix with guitar noise. There's a lot of that on You Speak My Language too. So yeah, I'm kind of interested in all the other instruments he's using, and kind of interested in really if Eastwood has gotten their shit together and kicked the asses of the PRC fraudsters that are cheating them with suboptimal quality stuff after they'd obviously signed contracts with factories. And I don't know how the business works, but they were getting screwed by people foisting crap on them, and none of them were really crappy enough. But I've got some reviews, and I'll do another one. The Sen one was the biggest disappointment. Some of them are kind of good. I got a classic baritone that's pretty good, and there's nothing wrong with it. And then that TV64, the blonde redhead special, can't complain about that. Just to reiterate, but anyway, like paying money because the Sandman would just be like, dude, you can take 2 strings off of any bass and do what I do. And I was thinking, like, this is my second Ovation Magnum. My backup that kind of electronics took a shit. I haven't gotten repaired. But here's the thing. Dirty secret about these is they got a really high action that's hard to... it's really hard to set a low action on these. And I was thinking, man, if I took 2 strings off, and I bet the action would still be really high, and play that with a slide, and then I'd have my Mark Sandman tribute and use a premium historical bass of my own. Except I'm just not interested in doing the slide thing, and to me, his signature sound, that's a whole nother thing. Sonic Youth is the only band where I was interested in trying to figure out and copy their signature sound. Okay, Shellac too a little bit, but to me, the signature sound really comes from the songwriting more than it does from the gear. And just having the gear, writing songs exactly like them is going to be transparent too. Another big one is like Primus, like trying to do the Les Claypool thing and then pretend like you're original or just no. And all the people, or it can be downright destructive to popular culture, like the zillions of people who started imitating Rush and Neil Peart and Geddy Lee and all that stuff, threatened and was a big, big bane to studio culture, where every engineer, is a Geddy Lee fan, a Neil Peart fan, all that. No. And Mark Sandman, it's just, the guy was so cool. I wouldn't want to do anything he wouldn't want you to do, and somehow I feel like he might be insulted by the Premier Replica tribute bass, but it's still cool. And it's like, hey, his legacy has grown. They're bigger than they've ever been before. I see more positive comments. People who weren't even born yet in 1999 love Morphine. It's huge. And Dana Colley, he's still going. He's you can write him and he'll record a saxophone for you. We even did that on Mad Cherries, but we haven't released it yet. It's secret. We need the right sound man to mix in his double sax, but he'll record a sax part for $200. It's awesome. And Billy Conway, the drummer in Shice Squad, the Nifty Wankers, we refer to him in the plural for he is Legion. He said Billy Conway was actually his favorite aspect of Morphine because he plays so groovy you can't tell he's a white man. That's what he said, because the guy in Shice Squad is a connoisseur of black gospel drumming and funk and stuff, and he was just like, Billy Conway is just exceptionally groovy, and respect to the departed. May your name never be forgotten, alongside Mark Sandman. So I don't know, the Eastwood tributes, they do pay tribute to great artists, John McGeoch, and those guys are awesome. So you know what, I might as well just buy it and quit bitching. All right, if you made it this far, mad respect. So happy weekend.